Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about vertical agriculture. This is basically a system of agriculture that have buildings or structures that have lot of roof or levels, and in each level there are plants. This system can be used in buildings, inside the buildings, outside, for example, in the roof. And the key or the goal that you want to achieve in this is the space. Don't use lot of land, and instead of use a little space and produce lot of food without using a lot of sources, natural sources, as the soil, the water, the sunlight, and stuff. Uh, Another advantage will be like the transportation, because we need a lot of money and lot of CO2 emissions to transport our the food from the camp to the cities. But with this system or new agriculture method, we don't have to transport the food, because we have in the same city we have our food. Uh, this system can be like in two ways: outside, like in a roof with the sunlight, and inside a building. In a side building, we need to have a light system, LED system, to provide the enough light to the plant in order to it can express its genetic, and it can also produce our food. Um, what happened with the nutrients? We don't use soil here. We use another things as like little rocks that simulates the soil. To the plant have like a structure, the roots can develop it, and the nutrients we give in a solution, in a water solution. It can be water from different sources, as even the sea. Some system can utilize the salt water, and with potable water we can use that system integrate with fish. For example, the plants are here, and the fish in the level down the level. So when the nutrients of the plant or the waste comes to the fish used to like a food, and when the food when the fish do make its excrements, the plant take that excrement as nutrients, and it's like a cycle, a symbiosis. um, Inside buildings, it takes a lot of money, because the energy to have those lights, the air conditioner, and the weather, the temperature are very expensive. But nowadays the technology is getting better, and the costs are being less. So, what countries use this new technology? There are a lot of countries, especially in Asia, because they don't have a lot of space to make agriculture. In Singapore, in Japan, and in America, Panama is one of the countries is getting into this topic. For example, in Singapore, the government is making a lot of effort to encourage people in produce, and they are winning a lot of good things. Like the local people is eating their own food, especially like herbs, because they can provide all the food they need. For example, a good advantage is that they don't use soil, they don't contaminate it. They are very productive, like 10% more than in a conventional agriculture in a landscape. They control the temperature, the humidity, the sun, the lead, the fertilization. It's you have a lot of efficiency there. That you don't have to use pesticides, herbicides, because in those buildings they don't have soil or other plants that contaminated. They generate a contamination, and you can produce every year. You don't have to depend of the weather, if it's raining or snowing. The negative thing is the costs are very cost nowadays, because the structures are very expensive, or the energy to provide the light. But with solar power is getting reduce the cost. We can also produce grains there, because they are too big and is not rentable. And animals, maybe in a future we can produce like animals in vertical, but nowadays we can. um, I consider that vertical farmers are possible of a near future, like 10 or 50 years. Could vertical farmers replace conventional agriculture? I don't think so, because as already said, like for example in the grains or animals, no, it's not possible, and we are increase our population each year, so is something that is going to help, like to give a breath of conventional agriculture, but it's not going to supply all the thing we need. A better environment, yes, of course, because we don't waste a lot of water, fertilizer, and contaminate water sources. And Zamorano can improve these things, as, for example, teach us the top science of agriculture, because when we graduate, we must know which are the tendency of the market of the top level technologies that agriculture is using. For example, uh, I read an article, and they have zero waste in those systems, as Life Science says, an article there, because as I already says, we have a cycle and we don't waste nothing. And Panama is getting bigger here, because they are invest money, and as for example, they are a company, Urban Farms, is doing investigation, like the injection of oxygen to the plants, and these things helps a lot of the production, especially in America. As the article cited in El Capital Financiero says. Thanks.